Good morning to you on a Friday morning. Open phones for the next 2 hours. 989-752-6111. And we say good morning to Jonathan Dent.
Good morning.
Good morning. There we are. We said it.
Exactly.
I want to start with a little baseball just for the fun of it. The Tigers, as of today, would be in the playoffs if the season ended today. And I think they're only one game shy of a 500 record right now. They have come a long way. They had a terrible May, and they have turned things around. Just the opposite of last year when they went on a slide at the end of the year.
Similar to the year before when they
yes,
got hot at the end of the year.
Glad to see they've got something different in mind. However, the worrisome thing, 6 outfielders are on the injured reserve list at this moment. Now, slowly but surely they'll come back. Hopefully Riley Green in a few days, after his 10-day IL stint. But that's worrisome. But yet, look what's happened. They pick up Max Clark from the minors. Phenomenal kid.
They've got the farm system really in good shape.
And that's what I love to see.
Yeah.
When I grew up in New York City and the New York Yankees were unbeatable, it was the farm system. They were a team of farm systems. Of course, you didn't have free agencies. You didn't have all the things you have now.
Mm-hmm.
But the Yankees were built on a very, very active farm system. And I've always felt that's the way baseball should operate. And I'm glad to see that the Tigers are doing some of that. Great, great players. So we'll keep our fingers crossed. They go up against the White Sox the next 3 days. White Sox are on top of the division right now. But who knows? The way the Tigers are playing, if they come out with a series win, that's a plus.
Mm-hmm.
That's a big plus. So go Tigers. But speaking of sports, I have never followed them, but they're all over the news these days. The WNBA. There is an organization whose name is the Women's National Basketball Association.
Yep.
That can't define what a woman is.
Yep.
Go figure.
You'd think that would be kind of a necessary part of...
You would think they'd have a definition of what that means.
Yeah.
And there's a couple of former NBA players, Enes Kanter and Royce White, who have decided to push them because these almost 7-footers are going to enter the WNBA draft.
Are they really?
They're going to force the issue.
Yeah?
And, and let's face it, letting men play in the WNBA, that would be the end of the NBA, the WNBA.
Yep.
And then while neither Cantor or White, so they say, is truly sincere about playing, they're going to push it.
Force the issue, yeah.
And this is the thing. The league had a meeting to fix it.
Yep.
And they couldn't come to terms. And they couldn't define a woman.
How can ideology and this messed up inability to define biology stand in the way of protecting your players?
I don't know. They had an emergency meeting to draw up a policy that would clearly exclude Cantor and Rice. But they couldn't come to an agreement. I don't know. I just sometimes you shake your head.
It's all PR and trying to.
The one thing about it.
Kowtow to.
The one thing about it, between some of their players, Cunningham, Caitlin, they've certainly found themselves a way to promote themselves. It may not be positive, but they're getting more attention than they ever got in their lives.
Yeah, and they're doing a terrible job with, they're getting bad attention because they're showing no interest in protecting those star players and promoting those star players in decent ways.
I put a lot of the blame on the leader, and I forgot her name, I'm sorry to say, but I put a lot of the blame on her because she has not made a good presentation, let's say.
Yeah.
She doesn't come across as the kind of person you just want to follow.
Is it Kathy Engelbert?
Yeah,
Is
something
that her
like
name?
that. Yeah, I think so. But I just shake my head.
I don't get it.
Of course,
They
it's
had a chance at some really good publicity and a wave, but
well, of course, the old saying is, doesn't matter what they're saying about you as long as they're talking about you.
yeah,
I'm not sure that fits.
not for an entertainment outlet like that.
No.
And
then,
it's not that people. It's not bad publicity that people are going to tune in to see. That's the thing. If something bad were happening at the games, people would tune in to see that.
Yeah.
They'd check it out.
But
But
apparently, a lot of the players in the league don't like the fact that they have a superstar with Caitlin in the league. They've been blatantly fouling her and getting away with it. That's the worst part. Refs aren't calling some of these blatant fouls.
Nope.
And it's just, I just shake my head. I mean, here was an opportunity for this league to take a foothold, and they've been growing, and they've been getting more coverage. And then all of a sudden, they shoot themselves in the foot.
in the NBA, if someone fouls a superstar so blatantly, especially if there's no response from the refs, there will be a response from the team.
Yeah. No,
I don't see that happening in the WNBA.
No, they're divided in the message. Even
Yep.
it's I just it's the unfortunate thing about it. It represents life today,
Yeah.
where we seem to be headed. Although there have been some signs that there are cracks in that progressive armor, but just
Scared to offend anybody
yeah, exactly.
that might be.
That's exactly. And
and complain about being entitled to more.
And you talk about why all this is being done for a minuscule minority.
Yeah.
Trans athletes. I don't understand. Don't understand it at all.
Seems like you'd want to protect your athletes.
Well, because they're your money. I mean, that's
Yep.
your bread and butter. People come to see them. They don't come to see the administration.
Nope.
So, who knows? Anyway, our lines are open, 989-752-6111, and that is where we find Susan this morning. Susan, good morning.
Good morning. My comment was the fact that, just because I got some radio up there, my comment to you was they have a sports announcer on, and I think it was Bill O'Reilly, and he was really good. And he said what the whole deal comes down to is they're against the feminine movement, and what they're trying to do is stamp out the feminine movement. And he said that if you go back even 10 years and start going forward, that's all you have now is a gay pride parade, and that's all they want.
I'm not going to agree with Bill on that. I mean, there are some, obviously.
It wasn't Bill.
Well, you
did
just
not
said it
say
was.
No, it was on the Bill O'Reilly show that he had a guest.
Oh, okay.
And the guy was a sports commentator.
Okay.
He had been with the WNBA for 10 years.
Yeah, I disagree
And-
with him. I did.
Well-
There are some. Don't get me wrong. Of course, there are some. But
I don't know, but everything he said made sense to me. And the fact that the one gal's coming out and said white privilege, well, she went to Stanford. Her father has money. And the other girl grew up on a farm and went to public college. So there's just, it totally rang a bell when he was saying that they're trying to strike down feminism.
Yeah, there's a lot of hypocrisy out there on this. I mean, it's rampant.
Well, you got this idiot right now that's running for our governor, and I heard him last night with Piker on Hannity, and it was every word was bleeped out, and he was.
I think
he wouldn't wipe his.
I think that relationship with Piker is going to cost him in the long run.
Well, I'm telling you, they will wipe your butt with the Constitution, away with prisons, do away with any kind of police, do away with.
Yeah, the
They
positions
basically
are...
want to upend the United States of America. And if anybody, I just can't understand it right now. Anybody that's voting these people in is basically thumbing their nose at all our veterans, all the patriotic stuff. And let's face it, Trump has tried everything. Everything he's tried has been the betterment for us and for the people and for the folks. And they block him every time they can. If anybody had a brain in their head, they'd look at the closed borders that he's done for us, the crime, they keep letting the criminals out of prison. And it just, he tries to beautify Washington. They destroy the monuments. I mean, it's just sickening that these people are getting away with these things.
Yeah, however, I will tell you this. In his beautifying Washington, I don't want to see his name on buildings. That's nonsense.
Why?
Because he doesn't deserve to have his name on a building.
He does it to feed his
He
ego.
does it to feed his ego.
Did the last 10 presidents or 12 presidents do anything? They let everything go right down the tube.
Are there
They
names
let
on any buildings?
Yeah. Yes, there is.
Tell me.
Stop and think about it. John Kennedy was on there.
Well, the Kennedy Center, I understand that. It was created under him.
And it was, yeah.
But but if somebody goes to do you want it to fall into ruin? Why do we have?
No, I want it fixed. I want it fixed, but that doesn't mean the fixer's name gets put on it.
Well, now it's John Kennedy and Trump.
Okay.
So there.
Yeah, right. Come on.
It is. They changed it yesterday. It
Trump,
was on. They had
the
pictures
board
of it.
voted against it because the court said that it should have been the board that did it. So the board said, let's put Trump's name back on again.
Yeah.
Of course, they're all people that he appointed.
I'll tell you something. When you've got every news agency running that man down every day and blocking him and not running his news presentations, then we don't have a freedom of speech.
Well, here's my freedom, Sue. I like a lot of his policies. I like what he does. That doesn't mean I'm going to like everything he does and everything he says.
Well, that's the
Not
beauty
going to
of
happen.
America.
Exactly.
That's the beauty of
Bingo.
America. And see,
That's
what
what
they
we're
wanna
talking
do is-
about.
Yes, and they want to take America away from us, and in no way, shape, or form. They want to ruin what we've got. They
Right, but
want
that
to
has
ruin our
nothing to
freedom.
do with him putting his name on everything. It's a separate issue.
And you know what? It's just such a small thing for what he's doing for this country. I could care less.
Well, okay.
I want to
That's
talk
fair.
about the murderers that are running around and raping
All
and
right.
killing people. You know,
Got it.
you have to look at that. Thanks, Art.
All right,
Bye-bye.
Susan. Take care. Bye-bye now. 989-752-6111. You have this puzzled look on your face.
I don't know who they are. I don't get that. Everybody talks about they.
Well, they is everybody who disagrees with you.
Yeah.
All right, we'll take a break and be back. You know, if your car gets dirty, what do? You take it to a car wash, right? But what if the engine gets dirty internally? Where do you go? Pistons, injectors, valves. They can build up with carbon and oxidize over time, and that reduces your performance and reduces your mileage. Well, no worries, because you can wash your engine internally with an engine performance treatment. It's 2 parts. 1 part goes in the tank and cleans everything that touches the gas. Second part goes in the engine and cleans everything that touches the oil. And it's all done at Quick Lane Freeland. And the way it works, their fuel treatment goes into the tank. Anything that gas touches, including carbon build-up on injectors, and the oil treatment cleans the gunk and grim inside the engine. After 15 minutes, they drain the oil and the sludge comes out with it. And it works on both cars and trucks. Stop in, find out about it today, because you're going to notice a difference right away. When you start your car, it'll run smoother and quieter. Gas mileage will increase too. So get some giddy up and go with a clean engine at Quick Lane Freeland. And remember too, tires are still only $5 over cost at Quick Lane Freeland.
Gotta go.
W open phones next 2 hours, 989-752-6111. Here's the good news, which I will temper, because because it's not as good as you think. The U.S. Consumer Price Index, the annual inflation rate, did tick up a bit in July, but prices rose 0.1%, a tenth of a percent. And so the year over year, they were up 3.4%, which meant prices rose, but at a much slower pace. That does not mean when you go to the grocery store, you're going to go hallelujah because prices are all going to be down again. They're not happening.
Because the CPI doesn't include food.
Well, that's one. And two, you would need deflation for the prices to go down.
Yep.
And that's probably not going to happen.
No.
But the deceleration is good news. I mean, at least, things won't go up as quickly. And a lot of it has to do with Iran and Straits of Hormuz and all of that stuff. And it goes on and on.
Yep.
Let's talk to Carl in Saginaw. Carl, good morning.
Good morning, guys. Art, a couple days ago, Sean called in, bless his heart, talking about the Civil War, Abraham Lincoln, how Lincoln was a Republican, and how the Democrats back then were, fighting for slavery. And he's right. Lincoln was a Republican. But back then, the Republicans were the liberals and the Democrats were the conservatives. And then that changed after the Civil War.
Oh, it's been an evolution forever.
Yes.
And
But before the war...
I don't buy the party. I don't buy the narrative of the party platform switch. It was a very small number of politicians switched parties.
Yeah. And I mean, you look at the evolution of that.
During the 1900s, early 1900s, the Democrats switching to be liberals, and the Republicans in the South started to become conservatives.
But you look at
the two sides.
Yeah, but you bring that up to date and look at John Kennedy. Many people today say Kennedy, if he were alive, would be a conservative. I mean, so it's.
Yeah, well, they say about Reagan might be considered a liberal if he ran.
He'd be a moderate
in the Republican Party.
Yeah, he had conservative views, but he'd be probably
but you know what I
moderate.
mean.
Yeah, I understand. But that's I mean, that's why none of that means anything. The only thing that means anything is what happens when you go in the poll.
Well, but people use the Civil War argument
Labels.
As the Democrats were the party of the KKK, stuff like that, which is true.
Yes,
but
back then,
I have a really hard time buying the party switch thing, and the definition of progressive and conservative has really changed, and I think both parties, frankly, are progressive right now. It's just what are they progressive toward is the question.
That's an interesting point.
Okay. Can I add one other thing, if I could bring up? You saw this story about Trump and Air Force One, where he snuck off in the catering truck and flew home from Turkey on a different plane.
Yeah.
And then he's saying about, the Iranians are trying to assassinate him. He calls them scum for trying to assassinate him.
Well, they've come out and said they were going to.
Yeah, well, didn't we assassinate their leaders? I mean,
actually, Israel took them out. Actually, it was Israel that killed them on the first round.
Okay, but with our backing and our intelligence and our bombs. So, but are we anyone to be calling the kettle black? When we do this sort of thing?
Sure, in war you say a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Well, we can't be surprised. We shouldn't be surprised if Iran wants to assassinate our leaders.
No, it's nothing new, though.
Shouldn't be surprised, but when you're convinced that you're on the right side of things, the other team is the bad guy for trying to assassinate your people.
Yeah. It's the nature of the beast.
Yeah, it all depends which side you're on, though.
Well, yeah, isn't that life?
But I think we had a policy for years of not doing that. Remember Cuba
Well,
and
we had
Castro?
we have policy of not doing that outside of war. When you're in a war, it's a whole different story.
Well, so it would have been okay for Germany to assassinate Eisenhower because
If they
we
could have
were at
caught him, don't
war?
you? If they caught him, do you think they would? Of course they would have.
Would it have been okay for
Maybe
the
they would.
USSR to assassinate Adolf Hitler?
I guess so.
That's,
all right,
it's-
well, there you
that's
go.
war.
That's the nature of war. You got to
all
separate them.
But if we're at war, then you say their leaders are fair game.
Absolutely. They're military targets.
Okay.
Absolutely. They head the military.
Yep.
Okay, what did you think about Trump sneaking off the plane and letting other people kind of be a decoy?
I think you'd have to ask the Secret Service that question because they're the ones that organized it.
The one thing that I wish he had brought at least a couple members of the press on the alternate
that's
plane.
true. But problem with that is they can't keep their mouth shut.
Correct.
And that's why they weren't invited.
Correct.
Because they didn't want it out. Nothing
Yeah,
wrong
well,
with that. I
well,
mean,
you
if
like
the
a-
Secret Service says we need to protect you and you're going to do this, he does it.
Mm-hmm.
It never would have come out if the press hadn't reported it. The White House never said anything about it.
So what?
even a month
Well, how does that
after.
affect anything? So what?
Well, how
So
does
you
that-
didn't
it's
learn
not
about it.
Security.
Do you think there
It
is
was about Trump.
It 100%.
Trump being embarrassed.
It was 100%
geez.
security.
100% security?
Bill Clinton did
No.
the same type of plane swap situation.
Come on, Carl. Let's be realistic here. We got, let's talk. If we're going to talk, let's talk in realism. The Secret Service said we're going to protect you. You're going to take a different flight. Okay, fine. He did. Whoopee. What did it change?
Yeah. Well, they're spending a lot of money. They have 3 different jets for Trump. The 2 different Air Force Ones flew to Turkey and back, and the military jet that he actually flew on.
Yeah,
So
well,
they're
it's
just spending money. They are spending money like there's no tomorrow.
all right.
And
That
the
pales
renovation
in
of the
comparison
Kennedy
to other.
Center,
Let's understand something.
250
Let's understand something,
250
Carl.
million.
Let's understand something, Carl. 2 Air Force Ones always fly when the president flies. Always. And the military planes fly whether he's on it or not.
Okay, well,
The renovations to the
spending money-
Kennedy Center were approved by Congress, not thrown by Trump.
okay, they're putting marble floors in the Kennedy Center. Is that really necessary? Is that what marble floors? Is that what we, there are
I don't know.
people
All the
going without
buildings in
health
Washington that are built with marble, should they have been built with wood?
If your guy were president, would it be okay to put marble floors in the Kennedy Center?
care? No,
Oh,
they can renovate it, but do they need marble floors and gold fixtures in the bathroom? Honestly,
That I would
while
agree with
people
you.
are going without health care.
I'd stop with the gold figure. No, don't bring the healthcare thing into it. Come on. Let's just talk about
Well,
one.
They told us we can't afford health care. We can't afford school lunches. We got to draw
All
the
right.
line somewhere.
That's
And
not
then they
where
spend money.
the argument is not we can't afford. That's not the conversation. The conversation
they
is
said.
should we be paying for it?
That's it. All right, I got to take a break. I'm late here. Got to run.
Okay.
All righty, bye-bye. We'll be back.
Beautiful new floor.
We're back with you here on WSGW. And, boy, that's a noisy one. Kevin is in Saginaw. Kevin?
Good morning. How are you guys
Good.
today? You knew when you said you was going to have a 2-hour open line, it was going to be a stressful day.
Well, not for me.
2 things. I just want to say these 2 things, and then I got to hang up and get back to work. Number one is, and you might be able to answer this because I seriously don't understand. I looked it up. I've been looking it up. And the population, according to Google, of Israel is 10 million people. Now, that's within a couple thousand of the state of Michigan. Number one is, how on earth did us, I don't know if it's a state or a country, I don't know what you'd call it, of 10 million people get so much influence and power over what appears to be the entire globe? That's one. And then number two, AIPAC. Why is that so taboo as far as untouchable? When they talk about AIPAC, and I've tried looking up different things, and it's confusing to me. So I have no opinion. I just don't understand that.
Well, I'll tackle the first one, and I'll leave the second one for.
I'm more knowledgeable about the first one too, but you go ahead.
Well, I'll just listen to you on the radio here.
All right, thanks, Kev.
Thank you.
In the 1940s, when Israel was created by the world, in effect,
Yep.
It created strife in the Middle East, and the creators, the world for that, from most of the world, not all, most of the world.
The Allied powers.
The Allied powers who created it came to their defense, and always have, and still do to this day. And Israel also has proven to be a very ingenious society, not only militarily. Think about a country that size and the dominance of their military, a lot of which is from our weapons.
Sponsored by a
lot of people. But they are also very, very successful in a business sense and an innovative sense.
It's got a lot to do with where they're located geographically.
And that does, to some degree, yes. But we also have to realize that because where they're located geographically, there are always going to be problems. There have been for thousands of years, and who are we to think we can wave a wand and change it? You may be able to change one little piece here, and something else flares up over there. It's the nature of the beast.
But how Israel gets to be such a big name on the world stage is the big brothers that back them up.
Yeah, that coupled with their economic impact.
With their economic impact.
Yeah. All right, so AIPAC.
Basically, it comes down to, should foreign interests have as much of a say in U.S. politics through money and lobbying support as...
Well, technically, they should have none.
That's what AIPAC is. It is a political action committee dedicated to advancing, they kind of say, the relationship between the U.S. and Israel, but advancing Israeli interests in the U.S. is keeping that connection strong and strengthening it further.
Well, there's two things. The Israeli interest in the U.S. doesn't necessarily mean influence in politics. In other words, Israel not pumping big money into things they want.
Yeah.
You know.
But that kind of ends up being...
Anybody can say what they want about our politics.
Yeah.
Anybody can say, well, we'd like to see this person win. Doesn't matter. But actually contributing and influencing are two different things.
I wonder if like the British had a political action committee in the U.S. where they were lobbying different politicians and things like that outside of official diplomatic channels, I'd have a problem with that too.
I would too. But I wouldn't be surprised if it happens.
No, I wouldn't.
I mean, we may have laws against it, but that doesn't stop it. How much influence does China have? I mean, those are the things we should be worried about.
Yeah. And they have to be a little bit more subversive and undercover about how they go about putting any money into anything in the U.S.
All right, let me take a quick break. We'll get to Jackie in Montrose when we return.
Thinking Kia? Think Thalen Kia.
Hi, we're back with you on the Art Lewis Show along with Jonathan Dent, and Jackie is in Montrose. Jackie, good morning.
Well, good morning. And I had to smile when you said that people mention they, and it brought to mind, and I'm laughing because I'm the Jackie who called in with a 3-minute poem a couple of weeks ago?
Yeah, I remember that.
Well, I had written something years ago, and I don't know if you want to hear it or not, but let me give you the first verse, okay? How often conversation that takes place throughout the day are repeated with such fervor as those ruling words. They say, just pay attention as you talk, or to others you do listen, and see how oft those ruling words they say have thus arisen. Do you want to hear a bit more?
Well, I think the problem comes up, like, when we're accusing they of something. You can just throw accusations out at nothing.
Well, and it goes on, it matters, it matters not of what you speak. Name anything, just anything you like, and you will find that they have already spoken. And, of course, they are always right. And when any topic is discussed and answers are most needed, then what they say undoubtedly is the advice that must be heeded.
I think what we need a Jackie book of poetry.
Okay. But if you got time, we got less than 2 minutes now. Up to you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Go for it.
Okay. They know why you should do a certain thing, and of course, when you should not. They know the ins and outs of everything from the bottom to the top. The liberal arts, sciences, finances, health and wealth, rearing kids, relationships, fashions, politics, and your inner self. And when your goal is to impress or simply be of help, then you must quote what they have said, so in wisdom you'll have dealt. But have you ever wondered just how it was they came to be on every known subject, the absolute authority? Excuse me. They must travel o'er the universe at the speed of light to know the who, what, when, where, why, and how of everything in life. So such folks so often quoted, and with such finality, you'd think they would want to write a book on everything from A to Z. But come now, can what they say be trusted just because they say it so? Or should we seek to find someone with a name that we do know? You see, when you hear the pronoun they, a basic rule of grammar is gone, for when a pronoun is used, it must be preceded by a noun. But that noun is never identified. No noun could ever be found to tell us who they really are or if their advice is sound. And so it seems we ought to know just who they really are. But it's such a guarded secret, though I've searched both near and far. Are they college-educated professors, masters, doctors of degrees, or are they simple folk who learned it all at mother's knees? We might never learn the truth about these inerrant sages, or what it is they really do to earn their daily wages. So we'd be wiser, don't you think, if in conversing day to day, we'd limit what we speak or hear that begins with the words, they say, and I'm done.
All right. Well, Jackie, thank you. Very timely.
Well, you too for letting me quote. My husband said they should hear your poem. I said,
yeah, you
okay.
Your husband's right.
Okay.
He said.
Well,
very good,
anyway,
Jackie.
if you hear there's a call from Jackie in Montrose, again, you'll say, oh, no, she's on her file again.
Yeah, you do
anyway,
very well. Thank you.
Have a great day.
You
it
too.
was
Bye-bye.
fun.
Bye. I was thinking when I heard that, the they, and nobody identifies the they.
Yeah.
You know what else is like that? When politicians tell us, we want the rich to pay their fair share.
Yeah.
What number is that? When was the last time, if ever, you heard a politician tell us what that fair share is?
Specifically, and who is the rich?
Yeah.
They'll say billionaires, but that's not going to scratch.
No, well now, and you have to realize in this world we live in now, there are a lot more millionaires.
Yeah.
In the United States particularly because of 401ks.
Yep.
And, it's always bugged me, they need to pay their fair share. Well, what is their fair share? If 10% already pay, 60 or 80% of whatever it is,
Yep.
How much is fair? I mean, the reality is, You look at all the progressives today want to give away free this, free that, and they want to tax the rich. They could take every penny of the rich's money, and they'd be way short of being able to pay for what they want.
Yep. Going to have to make cuts elsewhere.
Yeah.
No. We can't stop spending money on things that we're already spending on.
Let's see. Where can we cut? Well, we'll get rid of police. No, wait a minute. That's been a bad idea. It's been tried.
Yeah.
You shake your head. And I guess the good news is that this country can still exist with people expressing those thoughts, and they can even gain support. But I don't think they'll ever gain what I would call traction
in the marketplace of ideas.
In the marketplace of ideas, we're beginning to see chinks. I mean, once people some will come to the senses, some won't. I mean, it's the nature of the beast.
Mm-hmm.
The world we live in, it's different today, and it's mostly because of the way we communicate. I mean, I really lay a lot of the ills today on social media and the anonymous way of communicating.
Yeah. But at the same time, the exchange of information is amazing.
Well, there's good news, bad news.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yep.
everything that's handed to you have to learn how to use properly.
Yep.
AI. We don't know how to use that properly yet.
No.
We're still learning. That's going to be a tough learn for many people. So, all right, we're going to take time out for the news from ABC and Michael Perchip. And then we will be back with more open phones for the next hour here on WSGW. News is next.
Experience the music.